Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've tried to hire, develop, or even just keep a team together recently, you already know the ground truth. The talent landscape, it is undergoing a massive, absolute seismic shift. That old playbook we used to rely on is completely gone. Today, we're operating in an environment that demands a fresh perspective, new tools, and honestly, a completely new mindset. Okay, let's dive into this with a perfect quote from Corinne Kimbrough and Michelle Hillman at Cannes Lions. Tear the paper ceiling holding workers back. For decades, outdated degree requirements have acted as this invisible barrier, literally a paper ceiling, holding back immense human potential. By demanding a very specific diploma, companies have just been missing out on incredibly capable people. And this sets up an urgent need for a radically new approach to how we define and discover talent. To get our arms around all of this, here is the cognitive map for our explainer today. We're going to synthesize the most recent insights into three massive trends: AI, skills, and growth, broken down into 5 key areas. We've got 1, the new talent landscape; 2, AI reshaping the strategy; 3, skills over degrees; 4, building a growth culture; and finally, 5, the future of recruiting.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the new talent landscape.
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast between the old and the new. Right now, we're seeing severe talent shortages across critical sectors. Take healthcare, for example. Hiring clinical professionals is flat out hard, and it's getting harder every single day. The standard sourcing methods are just failing us. On the left, you see the old recruiting mindset, slow and pedigree focused. On the right, the new mindset, potential focused and AI driven. But here's a massive takeaway, and it's something the team at Hire Web Creators LLC points out perfectly. When a highly specialized search, like for an engineering role, drags on for months, the problem usually isn't a lack of talent in the market. More commonly, it's an unclear hiring brief, unrealistic expectations, or just a mismatch between the role and the market. In this new mindset, clarity beats volume. Before you expand your search, you have to revisit the fundamentals. Is the role clearly defined? Are the skills realistic? Does the comp actually match the market? Because a better, clearer brief always delivers better candidates. Moving right along to section 2, AI reshaping the strategy. So, artificial intelligence is without a doubt the single biggest disruptor in the hiring space right now. Industry leaders are literally predicting that talent professionals must fundamentally adapt their workflows over the next 6 months, or they risk being left entirely behind. But what does that adaptation actually look like? Well, experts are pointing to a people-first AI future. Basically, this means scaling AI's impact in hiring and talent development by prioritizing trust, readiness, and responsible innovation. I absolutely love this because it reminds us that successfully scaling AI depends heavily on human trust and team readiness. It's not just about plugging in some new tech and walking away, right? It's about bringing your people along for the ride responsibly. Let's look at a micro case study of an organization doing this incredibly well. Take a look at Visa's AI talent strategy. They didn't just buy software licenses and call it a day. They put AI dead center in their talent strategy. They implemented peer-to-peer learning, they focused on role-specific AI upskilling rather than just generic training, and they really fostered a culture of experimentation. By putting their people first, they drove truly meaningful business outcomes. Now, of course, it's perfectly natural that a lot of leaders are feeling a bit of AI burnout right now. It's a massive amount of change happening super fast. But as the data shows here, better questions, feedback, and trust help teams adopt AI faster and with way more confidence. This is your antidote to AI fatigue. Human-centric feedback and deep organizational trust are the true accelerators of technology adoption. Okay, let's head into section 3, skills over degrees. This connects right back to that paper ceiling hook we discussed at the very beginning. If we're going to use AI and new frameworks to discover potential, we absolutely have to stop letting historical diplomas dictate who gets an interview. Instead of relying on diplomas and resumes as our currency, we're adopting actual skills. We are shifting our focus from judging a candidate's pedigree to unlocking their raw potential. And methodologically, we're evolving from static screening to dynamic, hands-on labs and AI-driven matching. Treating skills as the new currency doesn't just happen to massive pools of overlooked talent. It fundamentally boosts inclusion across the entire workplace. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we actually measure those skills tangibly. LinkedIn Learning and Hack the Box are partnering up to bypass the degree bottleneck entirely by closing the cybersecurity talent gap with hands-on labs that build real-world, scenario-based skills. So instead of asking if someone has a 4-year degree, they just drop candidates into a scenario-based lab to see if they can actually stop a simulated cyber attack. How cool is that? And this skills-first approach is generating incredible, actionable data. We're getting insights from over 1 billion career paths, revealing real-time skill shifts. Tools like the LinkedIn Learning Career Hub are using this massive data set to track skills shifts across an organization's entire talent architecture. You can literally see the skills your company has right now and the exact skills it will need tomorrow, all updating in real time. Next up is Section 4, Building a Growth Culture. As we all know, hiring is really only half the battle. Developing your internal talent is the real key to long-term retention and driving systemic innovation. Just consider this massive number, 12,000. That is the scale of New York Life's recently unified talent system. They systematically upskilled 12,000 employees in AI and career coaching. By unifying their talent platforms, they didn't just train workers, they built an absolute workforce of innovators. So, how do you actually build that kind of culture internally? Well, here are 3 clear steps drawn directly from Teradata's playbook. Step 1, empower employee ownership of learning. Step 2, foster continuous career development. And Step 3, power AI innovation. The logic here is just brilliant. You can't just mandate AI innovation from the top down. You have to systematically create a growth culture where employees take true ownership of their individual paths. And for all the talent professionals tuning into this explainer, there is a major career benefit here for you too. Championing career development helps organizations build and retain critical talent, which massively expands your executive influence. You're no longer just filling seats, you're architecting the company's future capabilities. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final piece, Section 5, the future of recruiting. With all these massive shifts in AI, skills, and internal growth, the role of the recruiter itself is fundamentally evolving. Recruiting today means moving at lightning speed while still finding the exact right fit. You just can't sacrifice quality for speed. This dynamic environment requires competitive edges. Solutions like Recruiter's Professional Services Plus are becoming absolutely essential to deliver top talent quickly, from search to start, ensuring that your speed doesn't come at the cost of precision. I really want to draw your attention to this fantastic quote from Adam Hawkins, LinkedIn's head of search and staffing. He says, "AI is redefining the recruiter's role, and the future belongs to those who think like consultants. The days of recruiters acting as administrative, manual screeners, those are over. AI is taking over the rote tasks. To thrive, recruiters must elevate their strategic value, shifting into the role of a strategic talent consultant who actually advises the business." It goes right back to what we said earlier about engineering searches. The strongest teams align hiring managers, recruiters, and tech leaders to perfect that hiring brief before the sourcing even begins. So, the crucial point is summarized perfectly by one provocative question. Are you hiring for the past or upskilling for the future? Everything we've looked at today, from tiering the paper ceiling to embracing people-first AI, ensuring absolute clarity in your searches, and building a growth culture, it all demands a choice. The landscape has changed for good. It's time to challenge your old playbook and start building the workforce of tomorrow, today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.